So this is Reepham High School and College Allotment Project. I'm Lily, I'm going to be showing you around. I'm the leader of the Allotment Project, and yeah, we'll go through. So this is the entrance that all the students come through at lunchtimes. This is our Ginkgo Tree area. So about a year ago we had some Chinese exchange students and they helped us plant these Ginkgo trees. As you can see, we try and reuse everything. So we've got an old wheelbarrow, tractor tyres, old tyres that we found by the side of the road. And we try and teach students that it's really important that waste isn't waste, and just because its primary use isn't useful anymore, we can still find another way to use it. We use the principles of permaculture a lot at the Allotment Project and the Papillon Project, which kind of incorporates everything such as earth care, people care and future care. So there are loads of different aspects of the Allotment Project. We're quite lucky because we've got loads of space. So we have a woodland area and obviously the allotment, and then we have our orchard area as well. So I'll just show you around the orchard area. So this is our eco bus. This was donated to us from a parent volunteer. It was an old library bus that have now got chairs in for people to read, do their work. It's really, really peaceful place for students just to escape the school. We have our pond area here. So this was made by our Care of the Countryside team and community volunteers. And again, it's just a tranquil space for people to relax. All around the orchard area is this tyre path border. All these tyres, we found fly tips of a 5-mile radius around our school. We collected 157 fly tip tyres on that day. And here is an example of our tree guilds. So we teach the students about companion planting, teaching them that certain plants go better together to help the apple tree grow. So we've got borage there. We also plant feverfew with them, which are nitrogen fixing plants. So as I said, they make the apple tree, and we've got a pear tree and cherry tree grow even better. Surrounded is by eco bricks, so they stop the weeds and grass encroaching. We have a native hedgerow that goes around the whole orchard site, and in a few years' time we'll be able to lay it. And then here we have the eco building, so it doesn't look much of a building at the moment, but very soon it will have sides and a roof, so this will be an outdoor classroom for people to use. So it should house a class of 30, which is your average class size, and it will just get people out of the school environment and teaching their normal lessons just outside. We have our woodshed down there where we store all our wooden pallets. And here is an example of one of the sustainable ways to collect rainwater. So this is like a mobile rainwater catcher. So the water goes into the sails at the top and then drains down into that blue bucket. So in our orchard area we now have our new growing area, which we've called the Permaculture Area, where we're growing loads of new vegetables. So we've got potatoes all along here, and then beyond the blue pallets we'll be growing squashes. So the idea of permaculture is that we don't dig what we do, we just put it straight into the ground, so it keeps the soil a lot healthier. So here is a really great example of our tree guilds. So as you can see, we're in the middle of spring, which is lovely to see all the blossom on the trees, and all the plants growing around it, but it's just going to make it so much healthier, and hopefully we'll have some more apples this year. And just beyond the orchard area we have our sensory garden. So this was initiated by one of our art teachers. Again, it's just a place for people to relax. It's got a mixture of plants that incorporate all the senses, so lots of nice smelling plants. Like when the wind gets in them, they sound really nice. It's again just a tranquil space, and we've tried to use the whole orchard area for people to relax and have their lunch times and just feel more calm. So this is the orchard area, and then we go into the actual growing area. So we have loads of beds in the growing area. We have potatoes there, lots and lots of rhubarb. We have chard and broad beans, and then we'll have some leeks in there eventually. Then we have our polytunnel. So in here we've got some runner beans growing, and then we'll be putting tomatoes on this side. And in midsummer this looks like a jungle inside of here, and and obviously it's perfect temperature for them. Then we have winter beans in there. And in our greenhouse, so this is where we germinate all our seeds. So we've got sunflowers and kale, leeks, more runner beans, more chard and more leeks. So here we have our kale and loads of other plants that we're planting. And what's great about it is that students feel like they've made a difference in their school, and they can come out throughout the year and see the progress of it, and it will make them feel like they've really spent their time wisely, because come summertime when they harvest everything, not only are they harvesting what they've worked really hard on, they actually get to eat it in their school canteen. And then here we have a rainwater catcher. Sorry, our chickens are a bit vocal. We have our rainwater catcher in here that is then put up with a rope pump. So basically how the rope pump works, it's got washers going around on a rope. This normally has a handle, we're just trying to fix it at the moment, and it pulls up the water, goes along this pipe and into this IBC water tank. So far we've collected roughly about 4,000 litres of rainwater in this one alone. And then we have our chickens, which are very loud. So here we have our livestock area. So normally in the springtime we have lambs from a local farmer that we look after, and we teach students how to look after them, the responsibility of having animals, you know, picking up their poo and feeding them and cleaning them out. And then we have the chicken coop, so this is where the chickens live at night time. We have a community volunteer, Judith, who puts all the chickens away at night time, and again it just teaches students about the importance of taking care of what's yours. And then we have our second polytunnel, so we fundraised to get the money to get one of these, and again it's just created so much more space for us to grow plants. So we've got a variety of plants here that we're keeping nice and toasty, and then again in midsummer this will be full of tomato plants and basil plants, peppers, sweet potatoes, that we get them all from a local gardener from a local estate, and he helps us out teaching the students about how to look after plants and plant them properly, and the conditions that they need. But as you can see, everything we use is a bit odd really. I mean, we have this kayak here that grows strawberries, and we found this on the side of the road, an old fishing crate that we found, old caterpillar tracks, lots of toilets. We have toilets throughout the project, and sinks and baths that we use to grow stuff in, because they are fantastic storage spaces. Then we have our old canteen drinks machine that they were going to throw out, but we got it out the skip and brought it down here, and it's fantastic as a cold frame, so it keeps them really, really nice and toasty. We're growing some salads in there at the moment. We have another rainwater catcher on the hill there, so it goes onto that sail, and there is a pipe underground that then fills up these IBCs. So we've got about 2,000 litres of rainwater there. Manure, very, very important. We got that from a local farmer, and again teaching students about how important it is to respect your local community. And then we have our compost area. So we have the 4 bays, so it all starts in number 1 and then ends in number 4. So we teach students the importance of having your own compost, having your own soil, making sure that any waste goes into here so it can be turned into something useful. We have a member of the community called Alan, and he taught us everything we know about compost, and works with the students to teach them about it as well. And then we have our other rainwater catcher on the bank that then does the same thing and fills up these IBCs under the blue pallets. And again we have a rope pump here, so I can show a bit closer. So the washers here pull up the water, and the momentum gets up, and it goes into this very conveniently placed sink. And the students made this one with again another member of the community who happens to be a water engineer, and he taught us how to make them. And I know lots of students have tried to make one at home. Maybe not to this kind of quality, but they still work, and it's fantastic that students get to take home what they've learned here, because it's really, really important that this whole project not only is a place for mental well-being and growing, but it's also a place of education and teaching people things that they don't particularly learn in the classroom. Some lovely rhubarb we harvested today. So this is our allotment project and orchard, and with the Papillon project they're spreading the idea across Norfolk.